Hey guys, Sullivan Owen here in Philadelphia. Thanks for coming back to my channel. So I'm back with a new grocery store flower design, this time from the land of Hawaiian shirts, Trader Joe's. I am much more enthusiastic because number one, there are no carrots anywhere to be found. It is all strictly flowers. So I am actually going to try to talk through the design. First, I'm going to pull a couple vases, we'll pick one, and then I'll just tell you each of the bunches that I bought. But it's finally starting to feel like fall. The flowers made a little more sense tonight. And even though I'm at the end of a really long day of making like a bunch of content, I think that this will come together and it will feel fall without being like too aggressively fall. Like it's like, maybe you need a jean jacket fall, but not like scarf and sweater and boot weather yet. Does that make sense? Probably not, but like I said, long day. So if you love all things flora, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And let's try October grocery store flowers. Okay, so the biggest thing to think about when you are choosing your vessel, and I realize not everyone is a floral designer like I am, who has way too many vessels that can hold water for flowers, but you want to think about really what the shortest bunch you have. And this is very short eucalyptus. So even this is probably pushing it a little bit because you want, I'm using my phone to monitor the big camera. So we're going to end up having to remove a lot of that. So I think we can roll out this one, which feels like a little too like, that's like a November vase. So I think these three would work. Just looking at the foliage that I have, which already we are miles ahead of where we were last month with Whole Foods, since they had like no greens, no foliage, no nothing. This, you could make what I like to call an exuberant design that would literally be like falling out of this vase. So I think we're going to roll that one out. And then it's really just like this kind of coppery, it's more copper than rose gold ceramic, and then this birch bark cylinder. And sorry guys, it's really been a long day, up since 4. I think we're going to do this one just because we'll do the same tape grid as I've done in a few designs, but this one we probably wouldn't use tape because it's just got a plastic liner, and I think that this is a good candidate for teaching you guys how to make a hand-tied bouquet that you just cut short and pop in there, because if you put tape on this it would just collapse the soft plastic liner. So let's do. Alright, knife, clippers, tape, use green tape. So I think flared vases like this help with that style of design that is so popular these days, which is kind of like a looser, less structured, more garden style design. I have no Lazy Susan because I just forgot to get it. Alright, so Trader Joe's bunches of flowers. We've got mums, carnations, eucalyptus, snapdragon. And they all come with 1 whole packet for a quart of water. This vase is definitely not going to hold a quart of water, so we'll use like a third. So the only foliage that was available was 2 kinds of eucalyptus, seeded and silver dollar. It does smell nice. So I did inspect all of the mixed bunches to see if there were any other other types of foliage that I could steal from a mixed bunch, but it seemed to be eucalyptus week. And just like you've seen me do a few times, if you've watched the channel before, I'm just making sure that there are going to be no leaves in the water. And I would call this, sometimes you get eucalyptus that's nice and sturdy. I would call this fairly wimpy. Doesn't have a lot of structure to it. So you can see I'm kind of like pinching it, holding it. And I'm actually going to place it in groups. So that's some silver dollar. We'll take some seeded. Yeah, it just doesn't have like a lot, the seeded especially, if it doesn't have really solid stems, it's going to be very floppy for you. So if you find that things are flopping out of the vase, it generally means that you can cut them a little shorter. Like this wants to jump out, but if I cut it a little shorter, it's going to anchor. Now it's actually knocking this out. I'm just trying to make an all-around design. This is a good sized vase for like a bedside table or a side table or a small dining table. And you should really always start with your foliage. And I'm quite grateful not to be using Swiss chard that didn't want to be in a flower arrangement. I'm very glad that there were no vegetables at the store that looked like they wanted to be part of this project. Here's a nice, solid, sturdy piece. So I'll try to use when it can support itself. You can use that to project some height. Possibly a little too tall, but when in doubt, leave it tall. You can always make it shorter. It's a lot harder to make it taller if you cut it. I feel like maybe the Lazy Susan was an important like structural element to the design videos. Maybe it kept me from accidentally ripping a chunk of foliage out of the arrangement like I just did. To work with a little more variety than just eucalyptus, but this is what they had. And I was actually really excited to see mums. I really love them, and I think there are some the most, besides being like a flower that really says fall, they have some that are just very dynamic in their shades and are interesting. Alright, so I got 5 stems of snapdragon. And they had flower food in them, but it was sticky. So I wondered, and that was different. So snapdragon would be something that I would consider a line flower. It's gonna gesture and point. And I really love snapdragon. I think they're such like a pretty old-fashioned flower. Let's see, there might be a cat jumping in just a moment. You know what, guys? The Lazy Susan was not just there for looks. Okay, well, that's a weird bunch of snapdragon. There are 7 stems. That is strange. I thought there were 5. 7 is an odd number for a bunch of flowers. So maybe they were 10 and 3 broke and disappeared along the journey from however they got to Philadelphia. Or maybe it is some... Okay, so we have got our line flower and 2 types of foliage in place. The next category type of flower that I typically work with would be a spray. Spray should be fairly self-explanatory. It's a single stem with multiple laterals or multiple flower buds. Those are too low. And these are a carnation, a spray carnation. I would other flowers that would go into the spray category would be like spray rose, which would be pretty self-explanatory. A lisianthus, some types of berries, and they're just they're supporting characters in the design. They kind of add some color and take up some visual space, but leave room for the bigger focal flowers, which in my world I call face flowers, but face or focal. And you really want to think about designs as, I think about designs as visual space to fill. So I am thinking about the overall shape and size that I would, the visual mass that I would like the flowers to create. And then I use different geometric shapes in the form of lines, spray, face, filler, which would be something like a hydrangea or a stalk maybe, to fill in that space in a way that is pleasing. I don't think I'm going to need all of these, but these are a really pretty kind of nude beige peach color. There are really, really gorgeous colors in carnations available these days, and I actually use them all the time. I think that they are a really affordable way to add some interesting color and texture to a design, and affordability is an important thing. I think that, you know, anyone can really make a design out of the most expensive flowers and make it look good, but it takes some skill to kind of mix those flowers together so that you sort of don't notice what the flower is, but you don't notice like, oh, that's got carnations in it. You look at the overall composition. Like, I think that is an interesting way to think about design. Certainly, you know, the rose spiral, which I posted a little while ago, that's like really graphic, striking. And if you use a beautiful rose like the Princess Miyuki that I used in that, I mean, it smells incredible, but they're not the cheapest flower. But you could do that spiral with carnations if you wanted to practice. So I just went ahead and, because I'm talking, I used all of these. And I think we'll circle back to this and get some photos of it in a day or so when these open. Because they really are pretty. You can tell they're going to be a really pretty color. All right. More flower food. I do have some dahlias that would be incredibly pretty with this. So I'm trying to honor the spirit of the grocery store challenge and not add additional flowers. I did notice that a couple of the mums were not necessarily shattered, but squished. And I feel like grocery store flowers probably suffer from customers, sort of putting them back, pulling them out, and, you know, not handling them that gently. I mean, flowers aren't particularly fragile. They're actually a lot more resilient than you would think. But I think that most of the bunches of flowers that I looked at the Trader Joe's this evening were, they showed some signs of wear. I maybe wish that the stock was a little more red, or red and less like magenta purple with this. So we'll see. Once these carnations open, I might not even need these. I'm glad that I used a lighter green foliage with this. I think that had I used something that felt more fall, it would have gone, it's like too early for that much fall color. Yeah, these don't look great, but they're generally shipped, and I wonder if the flower department or produce department removes them. Mums are usually packaged in these like safety nets. They look like little, like, I don't know, like produce nets, you know, that cushion the heads of the flower and keep the petals kind of folded up like this. And then when we get them, florists get them, we take those off, and then, you know, the petals spring open. I love that my camera is so temperamental. My overhead camera is so temperamental that it says battery exhausted. It doesn't just say like battery low. It has to go the extra step to say exhausted. This batch content thing is no joke. And I'm sorry the cats haven't appeared lately. Our cats don't go outside, so they can't really participate in the outdoor projects. Yeah, these don't look so great. But in general, I think this palette is kind of like a little summer, a little fall. It's a pretty shape. And I will be sure to get some footage of it in the daylight and not in the studio lights. dahlias that would be pretty with this, but they were not at the grocery store. Alright, so 2 pretty sad looking orange mums, 2 broken ones, 2, well, that's what I mean by shattered. And the color on these is so interesting. There are so many beautiful like bronze fall mums that are just so gorgeous. Yeah, this doesn't look so great, so we'll look for someplace low. I think that's good. Again, would love more variety, would love more greenery options. I think grocery store flower department managers, buyers of the US, you would probably sell more flowers if it were easier for people to make arrangements with your stuff. I feel like buying 10 stems of spray carnations or 10 stems of mums doesn't really inspire somebody to put an arrangement together. I guess they just like cut them and stick them in a vase. But hopefully as this continues, maybe we'll get some grocery stores to pay attention to stocking their departments with a little more variety. And I will get some photos of this or some footage in the daylight. And I'm gonna go to bed. And the cats, I'm going to put this somewhere safe so that we can get good open shots of the carnations after they open. And then we'll let the cats eat it. So, alright, stay tuned to see what it looks like in a day or 2 or 3. I'd kind of like to see how long they last. So, let's do that. And here is the Trader Joe's arrangement 4 days later. It looks pretty good, except that these carnations never really opened. I'm not sure if that's because they didn't get enough light or what, but all I've been doing is just adding fresh water. So nothing has, oh wait, I was just about to say nothing's fallen apart, but but 4 days is pretty good with just some flower food and fresh water added a couple times. So yeah, I'm gonna say good job, Trader Joe's. It was affordable, it was a pretty arrangement, and it lasted 4 days so far. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the October grocery store design. I'm pretty happy with it. I think Trader Joe's so far, compared to last month's Whole Foods challenge, where you can I'll put the link below, or maybe I can get it to pop up here, but yeah, happy with it, pretty pleased that everything still looks good. Kind of wish the carnations had opened, but you can't win them all. At least there's no carrots in it this month. So if you love all things flora, please subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment with your favorite place to buy grocery store flowers. For November, I'm going to be trying to do what I would say would be a Thanksgiving centerpiece. And I'm going to try a very traditional grocery store for those flowers. So you can look forward to that. And coming up in the next couple of videos, we have a fall wreath, we have a fall bridal bouquet. So there's some fun fall themed things. October is the month where I really feel like I come to life. I'm just not really a hot summer person. I like the chill of fall. I like being cozy. I like sweatshirts and sweaters. So I really get excited about my work in the fall. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.